My wife slept with her gym trainer and stole our twins' college fund. But when I exposed everything, her fantasy world collapsed in court. With a devastating expose of her deceit, I turned her betrayal into her ruin, unleashing a courtroom showdown that shattered her facade. Brace yourself for a raw, electrifying tale of infidelity, theft, and a father's fight to reclaim his family's future. I'm Greg, 45, male, and I guess I should start from the beginning. I work in logistics. You know, one of those massive shipping companies everyone uses but nobody thinks about. I started at the bottom, literally pushing boxes around the warehouse floor 18 years ago. Now I'm a logistics manager, but pays decent enough. I'm not driving a Tesla or anything, but we were comfortable. I married Megan, 43, female, for 19 years, and we have twins, Ethan and Sophie, both 18. Now, when we first met, Megan was working at this little diner near the warehouse. I'd stop in every morning, and man, she was something else. Not like those Instagram model types, just a real down-to-earth girl who could make you laugh about anything. She loved simple stuff. We'd spend whole weekends just binge-watching shows or having BBQs with friends. That's what made me fall for her, you know. "You're my safe place," she whispered on our first date, her eyes sparkling. We got married pretty young. I was 26, she was 24. We had the twins right after. Those first few years were rough. I was still working the warehouse floor, pulling crazy overtime whenever I could get it. Megan had a part-time job at a gift shop, but with twins, daycare would have eaten up everything she made, so we decided she'd stay home with the kids. I busted my ass at work. Took every extra shift, volunteered for holiday coverage, learned every part of the operation I could. I started moving up, supervisor, then operations coordinator, then finally manager. It took years, but we finally got to a good place. We bought a decent 5-bedroom house in a neighborhood with good schools. Megan seemed happy, or at least I thought she was. She got to be a stay-at-home mom, which was what she said she wanted. She could take the kids to their activities, volunteer at their school, all that stuff. We weren't rich, but we had family vacations every fall, usually driving, but still we could buy the kids what they needed and had a little left over for savings. But about 3 years ago, something changed. It started small. She joined this boutique gym, but then she started spending more and more time there. She lost like 20 lb. Got all these new athleisure clothes, started going to these wine nights with her new gym friends. Coming home later and later, our life suddenly wasn't exciting enough. Movie nights were boring, family dinners were routine. She started making these little comments about other people's lives. How her friend Brittany was always jet-setting, or how her gym pal Vanessa was living her best life. I tried talking to her about it, like actually sat down one night after the kids were in bed, asked her what was wrong, if there was something missing. Her answer still pisses me off when I think about it. "Nothing's wrong, Greg. I just want more from life than being stuck in this routine. We're so bored." When I brought up the kids, she just rolled her eyes. "They're teenagers, Greg. They don't need me hovering over them anymore. I need to think about myself for once." "You're holding me back," she snapped, her voice sharp. I was working 55-hour weeks so she could have the life she wanted, and suddenly that wasn't good enough. Maybe she's going through something. Maybe it's a phase. Maybe if I work harder, save more, she'll be happy again. I started putting even more money into the kids' college funds, thinking maybe she was stressed about their future. I thought we could work through it. I tried suggesting we do more stuff together, maybe take some weekend trips, try new restaurants. But nothing was ever enough. She always had some excuse about why she couldn't. Spin classes, plans with friends, whatever. The twins noticed it too. Sophie would ask why Mom never came to her lacrosse games anymore. Ethan got real quiet whenever Megan was around, like he could sense something was off. But I kept telling them and myself that everything was fine. Well, the way I found out what was really going on is probably the most messed up part of this whole thing. It was a regular Thursday night. I'm in my home office, aka the corner of the garage where I put a desk, doing some work stuff, and Ethan comes in looking like he's about to throw up. Now, Ethan's always been the quieter of the twins. Sophie is the outgoing one, but this was different. He stood there for like a solid minute before he could even talk. "Dad, I think you need to see something." He pulls out his phone, opens this dating app and starts scrolling. And there she was, Megan, my wife of 19 years, but not the Megan I knew. These were all these posed gym selfies I'd never seen, calling herself Vita Spark and saying she was ready to seize life's passions, or some BS like that. I felt this rage. I didn't even know I was capable of it, like my hands were literally shaking holding Ethan's phone. Here's the mother of my kids posting these provocative gym selfies like some desperate teenager biker. Are you kidding me? While I'm working 55-hour weeks to put money in our kids' college funds, she's out here acting like some budget Instagram model. I had to walk away from Ethan for a minute, go to the backyard and just breathe, because all I could think about was every time she said she was too tired to come to Sophie's lacrosse games, or when she missed Ethan's hackathon because she had a migraine. She was probably taking these goddamn pictures or meeting up with that gym rat. 19 years of marriage, 2 kids, all those memories reduced to this pathetic midlife crisis playing out on a dating app. And my son had to see it. My kid had to sit there and show me proof his mom was trying to hook up with guys his age. You want to talk about betrayal? Try watching your teenage son apologize to you because his mom couldn't keep her desperation off dating apps where his friends could see it. What made it worse is that Ethan only found it because his friend Mason was there and recognized her. Poor kid was messed up about it for days before he got the courage to tell me. And while all this is going down, Sophie was helping me sort through some paperwork for budget planning. She's always been good with numbers and wants to be a data analyst someday. She notices these weird withdrawals from their college accounts. See, when the twins were born, I set up separate accounts for each of them. Been putting money in every month since they were babies. Nothing huge, just whatever I could. A couple hundred here, a couple hundred there. By the time they were 18, each account had about $50,000, 0 cents in it. Not enough for fancy private schools, but enough to give them a good start at community college. I thought they were safe since they were in their names, but turns out Megan still had access. Sophie starts adding up all these withdrawals, almost $40,000, 0 cents gone from each account over the last 18 months. When she showed me the statements, I thought I was going to be sick. All these random ATM withdrawals, transfers to accounts I didn't recognize. I confronted Megan that night, but did not bring up the dating app thing. Figured maybe there was some explanation, right? Maybe she was investing it somewhere better. She didn't even try to deny it, just sat there with this look on her face, like I was the one being unreasonable. I deserve to live a little, Greg. I gave up my youth for this family. You owe me this, she said, her voice cold. Those were her exact words, like somehow that justified stealing $80,000, 0 cents from her own kids' futures. I asked her what it was spent on. She started listing off stuff like it was totally new clothes, luxury facials, weekend trips with her friends, some BS personal growth seminar. Then she hits me with, the kids can take out loans like everyone else. I needed that money to find myself. Find herself, right? The twins were right there in the dining room when she said this. Sophie started crying. Ethan just walked out. Didn't say a word, just went to his room and locked the door. Megan didn't even seem to care how much she was hurting them. I think that's what got me the most. Not the money. Yeah, that was bad. But money can be replaced. It was how she could just sit there looking at our kids and basically tell them that her living a little was more important than their future. That night after Megan went to bed, Sophie came to my room. She had more to show me. Turns out she'd been doing some digging of her own on social media, and holy crap what she found. Remember that gym I mentioned Megan joined? Yeah, turns out that was ground zero for this whole mess. All that finding herself BS had a name. Cody. Freaking Cody. You know, the type of early 30s personal trainer who probably peeks his biceps in the mirror when he thinks nobody's looking. Sophie showed his Instagram. It's full of those cringe motivational quotes like, grind never stops and pain is progress, with pictures of him flexing in terrible lighting. The weird thing is, the dude was only 30, living in some crappy townhouse, driving a leased Challenger he could barely afford, but he had the whole lifestyle guru thing going on social media. Called himself a wellness architect, charged desperate housewives extra for private sessions that were probably just him counting reps while they did basic exercises. Sophie found pictures of them together going back almost 18 months. Fancy restaurants, lounges, weekend trips to the lake, All the places Megan was supposedly going with her girlfriends. Places I know for a fact we couldn't afford, especially not with her not working. Now I knew where the college money went. And this piece of work knew she was married and knew about the twins. There were literally comments on his post where Megan would write stuff like, "Best mentor ever," and he'd reply with some BS like anything for my top client. I found out they'd been seeing each other for almost 18 months while I'm working my ass off trying to keep our family comfortable. She's blowing our kids' college funds on hotel rooms and overpriced dinners with this gym rat who probably can't even spell wellness. Would tell these women, found out Megan wasn't the only one. How they were settling in their lives and how they deserved more thrills. Real predatory stuff. Looking back, he'd find these women who were bored with their normal lives and fill their heads with all this garbage about unleashing their potential and how their husbands didn't understand their needs. Ethan found some of their text messages. This clown was telling Megan stuff like, "You deserve someone who can match your spark, and a woman like you needs freedom, not routine. You're too good for him," he texted her, the words burning into my memory. Meanwhile, he's living off our money, probably telling the same lines to 5 other women. But you want to know the most pathetic part? Megan actually believed him. Thought this guy who takes shirtless selfies in the gym bathroom was her soulmate or something. Started talking about how he gets her in a way I never did. How he's going places with his fitness brand. I mean, I get it. Marriage isn't always exciting. Sometimes it's paying bills and making sure the kids get to school on time and fixing that weird noise the dishwasher's making. But that's real life. That's what being an adult is. Not this fantasy world where you run off with some trainer half your age who posts workout videos and tight tank tops. You know what really kills me, though? I spent 19 years building a life with this woman. Held her hair back when she had morning sickness with the twins. Worked doubles at the warehouse when we could barely afford cribs. Drove that crappy Nissan for 5 extra years so she could get the crossover she wanted for carpool. All those little moments where you think you're building something real together and she threw it all away for some dude who probably searches best Instagram captions and thinks protein shakes count as a personality. Like, how do you look at your family, at everything you've built, at your kid's whole future and decide, nah, I'd rather have this guy who calls himself a wellness architect and can't even afford his own townhouse? Makes me wonder if any of it was real. You know, if she was always just waiting for something more exciting to come along, maybe I was just the reliable placeholder until she found someone who posted better gym selfies. The twins were absolutely gutted. Sophie especially. She'd always been really close to her mom. Looked up to her. Now she was watching her mom throw everything away for this dude who probably couldn't even point to our town on a map. Ethan just got quieter than usual. Started spending more time in his room on his computer. At the time, I thought he was just processing everything. You know what really gets me, though? All those times Megan was too busy to come to Sophie's lacrosse games or Ethan's tech expos, she was probably with him, missing our kids' moments for some discount Ryan Reynolds wannabe. I sat on this info for a few days trying to figure out what to do. Part of me wanted to go down to that gym and introduce Cody's face to my fist. But I've got twins heading to college soon. Can't be catching assault charges. Had to be smarter about this. I called my buddy Chris, who's a lawyer, just handles normal people stuff like divorces and wills. Told him everything. His first words, "Don't do anything stupid. Let's do this right." And boy, did we do it right. So, after talking with Chris, my lawyer buddy, I had a game plan. He told me to document everything before confronting them. So I spent a week just gathering evidence, bank statements, screenshots, everything the twins had found. Chris said the more proof we had, the better position we'd be in for the divorce. I waited until the kids were at school before confronting Megan and didn't want them around for this mess. Took a day off work, sat at the kitchen table with all the evidence spread out in front of me. When she came downstairs in her workout gear, probably heading to see Cody, she almost walked right past me. "Sit down, Megan. We need to talk." She got this annoyed look on her face like I was interrupting her very important day. "I'm going to be late for my session." "Yeah, with Cody, right?" "Sit down." "You know?" she gasped, her face paling. She knew she was busted, but tried playing it cool. Sat down across from me like this was just going to be some minor conversation. I started laying it all out. The dating app profile, the bank statements, the pictures Sophie found, the text messages Ethan recovered. With each piece of evidence, she got more defensive. Then you know what she did? Laughed. Finally, she says, "I was wondering when you'd figure it out. You're so slow sometimes, Greg." "I'm smarter than you think," I shot back, my voice steady. I froze like this was all some game, like she was somehow smarter than me because she managed to hide her affair for 18 months. That's when she started her whole speech about how boring our life was, how Cody understands her needs and makes her feel alive. He's going places with his brand. She tells me, not like you, stuck in the same job for years. I just looked at her and said, the same job that paid for everything in your life, the same job that puts food on our table and clothes on our kids' backs. She rolled her eyes. The kids are fine, Greg. They don't need all that money for college. Plenty of people take out loans. That's when I lost it, not violently. I don't play that game, but I let her have it. They don't need the money. Our kids don't need the money you stole from them. For what? So you could play sugar mama to some gym rat who's probably telling the same lines to 5 other women? She tried to interrupt, but I wasn't done. You know what Sophie did last night? She was looking up student loan interest rates. Our 18-year-old daughter is trying to figure out how to pay for college because her mother decided finding herself was more important than her kid's future. You broke her heart, I said, my voice cracking. Megan actually had the nerve to say, "They're almost adults. They'll understand someday." Understand what? I asked her. Understand that their mother chose some discount Instagram model over their future? That the money I worked overtime for years to save went to hotel rooms with your trainer? Then she pulled out the classic. I gave up my youth for this family. I deserve to be happy. Your youth? You're 43, Megan, not dead. And nobody forced you to have kids at 24. That was your choice, just like stealing from them was your choice. She started gathering her stuff, acting all dignified. Well, I want a divorce. Cody and I are going to move in together, he says. I cut her off. Let me guess. He says you deserve better, that he'll give you everything you want. Wonder what he'll say when he finds out the money's gone. He loves me, she insisted, her voice faltering. She started sputtering about how Cody loves her for her, not the money. I called Chris right after she left. Got the divorce papers started that day. Then I made a few other calls because if Megan and Cody thought they were going to ride off into the sunset with my kids' college fund, they had another thing coming. First call was to Ben, a guy I know who manages another gym across town. Turns out he used to work with Cody and had some interesting stories like how Cody had been fired from 4 other gyms for inappropriate relationships with clients. Ben still knew some people at Cody's current gym, one anonymous email to the gym owner about trainers using the facilities for unauthorized private sessions, if you know what I mean, and charging clients off the books. Let's just say Cody's brand took a hit. Ethan had been busy. Remember how we found those text messages? Well, he found a lot more. Turns out our boy Cody was running the same game with 5 other married women. All of them thought they were special. All of them helped him with money for his brand plans. The kid made a burner email account and sent evidence to all their husbands, screenshots, dates, everything. I told him later that was risky and he shouldn't do stuff like that, but I was proud. The fallout was beautiful. One of the husbands owned the fitness supplement shop where Cody got his wholesale discount for reselling protein powders and pre-workouts, that little side hustle gone. Another husband was a member at the tennis club where Cody was trying to get some high-end clients. One phone call, no more access. Meanwhile, Megan is living in her fantasy world, thinking she and Cody are going to move in together and start their dream life. She even started telling people she was going to be his business partner in his new elite fitness venture. That dream died real quick when she showed up at his place one night using the key he gave her, telling her she was the only one, and found him with one of his other special clients. The meltdown was epic, like security had to be called to the townhouse complex. One of his neighbors recorded the whole thing. Megan screams about how he promised to leave his girlfriend. Well, he had a steady girlfriend. This whole time about all the money she gave him while this other woman is yelling about how he promised her he was single. The video made its rounds on our local Instagram stories. Cody kissed his reputation goodbye, and guess what? The girlfriend saw the video. Turns out she worked at the bank where Cody was trying to get a loan for his elite fitness studio. She didn't take the news well. Suddenly, his loan application had some issues that needed to be reviewed. The twins handled it better than I expected. Sophie put together a spreadsheet tracking all the money Megan took, including interest it would have earned. Ethan set up alerts on all my accounts and credit cards. If Megan tried to access anything, we'd know instantly. They also told their friends what happened. You know how fast news spreads in high school. Within a week, everyone knew. All those gym moms Megan hung out with, their kids went to school with the twins. Suddenly, nobody wanted to have wine night with the woman who stole her kids' college money to fund her affair with the trainer. Megan tried damage control, posting this long rant on Instagram about how nobody understands and how she was just trying to find happiness. Her gym friends ghosted her. Turns out, even in their circle, stealing from your kids crosses a line. The karma train wasn't done, though. Remember that personal growth seminar she spent money on? Ethan found their website, sent them an email about how one of their clients was using their program to justify stealing from her children. They actually refunded some of the money to me, not her. By the end of the month, Megan's whole house of cards collapsed. Cody blocked her number after she kept showing up at his place. Her gym friends wanted nothing to do with her. Even her own sister, who initially took her side, changed her tune when she found out about the college funds. Remember my buddy Chris, the lawyer? Turns out he's actually pretty damn good at his job. When we went to court, we were prepared, like a 5-inch binder of evidence prepared, bank statements, screenshots, everything documented and organized. The first hearing was almost funny. Megan shows up with this lawyer she found on a TV ad, thinking she's going to get half of everything plus alimony. She didn't even bother to dress up for court, wore one of her gym outfits, looking like she was headed to a Pilates class after. Her lawyer starts going on about how Megan sacrificed her career for the family and deserves to maintain her lifestyle. Chris just sat there quietly until it was our turn. Then he pulled out the receipts. Literally. First he showed the judge the college account withdrawals, every single one, with dates and times. Then he matched them up with hotel receipts and restaurant charges that Sophie had found. The judge's face got darker with each page. But the best part? Megan's lawyer didn't even know about the college funds. You could see him whisper something to her, and she just shrugged it off like it was no big deal. The judge, this older lady who looked like everyone's stern grandmother, just stops everything and asks Megan directly, "Are you telling me you took money specifically saved for your children's education to fund an affair?" Megan tries to spin it. "I needed that money to rebuild my life. The kids can take loans." "You're a disgrace," the judge said, her voice icy. The judge cuts her off. "So that's a yes." From that point on, everything went downhill for Megan. The judge was not happy about the college funds, called it a particularly egregious breach of parental duty. Here's what the judge ordered. Megan has to pay back every cent she took from the college funds with interest. Any money she gets from the divorce settlement goes to paying that back first. She also got way less than she wanted in the split. The judge said she couldn't reward financial infidelity. The house, she tried to claim half its value. Judge said, "Nope, the kids need stability." And since I was the one who could actually pay the mortgage, I gotta keep it. Megan got some of the equity, but guess where that money had to go first? Yep, right back to the college funds. Her lawyer tried arguing that she needed alimony to get back on her feet. Chris pulled out records showing she'd spent more on hotels and restaurants with Cody in the past 18 months than she would have made working full-time at her old gift shop job. The judge basically told her to get back to work. The twins were relieved when it was over. They didn't have to testify. Chris made sure of that. But the judge did read letters they'd written about how finding out about the theft affected them. Sophie wrote about how she'd been planning her college applications, thinking she had a secure future, only to find out her own mother had gutted her savings. Ethan wrote about how he couldn't trust his mom anymore, after seeing how easily she could lie to all of them. Those letters hit hard. The judge referenced them specifically in her ruling, saying that Megan had irreparably damaged her relationship with her children for temporary gratification. After court, Megan tried to talk to the twins. Sophie just walked away. Ethan looked at her and said, "I hope he was worth it." Megan had to move into this tiny, one-bedroom apartment on the edge of town, got her old job back at the gift shop, but most of her old clients found new sales associates when all this went public. She's been posting these sad Instagram updates about forgiveness, and everyone makes mistakes, but nobody's buying it. It's been a year since that war. The twins graduated high school. Megan tried to show up at graduation, showed up in this new dress that probably cost a month's salary at the gift shop, acting like everything was fine. Sophie saw her in the parking lot and just said no. "You don't get to pretend today." Ethan didn't say anything, just turned around and walked back inside. The college fund situation is slowly getting fixed. Between Megan's garnished wages, the divorce settlement, and what I've been able to save up working some extra shifts, we're about halfway back to where we were. Sophie got a partial scholarship to City University, and Ethan got into their software engineering program. They're both doing this work-study thing to help with expenses. The house feels different without Megan. Quieter, maybe. The twins have really stepped up, though. Sophie's taken over a lot of the household organizing, made this crazy detailed chore chart. Ethan's been helping me fix up stuff around the house, and recently, life's different now. Better is different. Dating is actually a thing again. Nothing serious, just coffee dates here and there. Met this preschool teacher named Lisa through a friend. She's got a kid of her own, so she gets all the complicated family stuff. We're taking it super slow. The twins actually like her, which is huge. Sophie says she's age-appropriate. Speaking of karma, Megan's life post-divorce is something else. That tiny one-bedroom apartment she was complaining about got evicted last month. Turns out spending money on designer clothes instead of paying rent isn't a great financial strategy. She's living with her sister now, which I hear isn't going too well, especially since her sister found out she borrowed her credit card. You know what's wild? My job's actually going better too. Got promoted to Regional Logistics Director. Amazing what you can accomplish when you're not constantly stressed about your wife stealing money and sneaking around with the local gym rat. The twins are crushing it. Sophie's taking all these advanced classes, and Ethan's turned into this computer whiz, like a father. Like kids, I guess. They got my work ethic just way smarter than me. Had this moment last week that really hit me. Was cleaning out the attic and found Megan's old vision board from a couple years ago. You know those things with magazine cutouts of the life you want? Hers was all luxury vacations and yachts. Meanwhile, in reality, she's working double shifts at the gift shop to pay back the college funds. Lisa saw it and just said, "Wow, some people really don't understand what matters in life." That's when I knew she might be a keeper. Looking back, I've learned some things from this whole mess. Not trying to be some relationship guru, just a regular guy who's been through some crap and came out the other side. First thing I realized, you can do everything right and still get screwed over. I worked hard, provided for my family, tried to save for our kids' future. Didn't drink, didn't gamble, didn't chase other women, didn't matter. Some people just aren't happy with normal life. They're always chasing something more exciting, even if it means burning down everything they have. The money stuff. Man, I was stupid there. Should have set up accounts that only I could control. Chris, my lawyer, tells me he sees this all the time. One partner draining accounts for an affair. Never thought it would happen to me, but here we are. Lesson learned, protect your kids' future legally. Found out later that Megan had been following all these lifestyle influencers on Instagram. You know, the type posting about finding yourself and chasing your dreams while shilling diet tea and meditation apps. She got sucked into this whole alternate reality where everyone's life is supposed to be exciting all the time. But here's the thing. Real life isn't exciting all the time. Sometimes it's just making lunch for your kids and paying the electric bill on time. And you know what? That's okay. The twins and I have game nights on Fridays now. Lisa joins sometimes. She's weirdly good at Uno. It's not Instagram-worthy, but it's real. Megan's on some dating app for elite singles these days, still posting those inspirational quotes about new beginnings. Cody moved to Nevada and runs boot camps in the desert, still wearing those tank tops that are 2 sizes too small. probably still scamming lonely women. The twins are heading to college in the fall. Sophie's already planning how to decorate her dorm, color-coded spreadsheet included. And Ethan's teaching himself some new programming language. They're going to be okay. We're all going to be okay. And Megan, since I know you're probably reading this, hi Karen, I know you're showing it to her. Hope those designer bags and hotel rooms were worth it. The twins are doing great, by the way. No thanks to you. I rebuilt our family, but Megan's betrayal left scars. Silent wounds that drive us forward, stronger yet forever marked.